We're at Cleveland Stadium for Cleveland Indians baseball. The Indians take on the Red Sox today. Cleveland is 1-2 in this very young season. They've been swinging pretty good bats, but their pitching has been really having trouble with their control. Manager Alvin Dark and pitching coach Jack Sanford both believe it's because the pitchers still haven't gotten used to the new mound yet. Starting lineups for Boston. Mike Andrews at second base leads off. Batting second will be George Scott, the third baseman. Batting third, Reggie Smith, the center fielder. Batting fourth, Rico Petrocelli, the shortstop. Batting fifth is Carl Yastrzemski, the left fielder. Batting sixth is Tony Conigliaro, the right fielder. Batting seventh is Ken Harrelson at first base. Batting eighth will be the catcher, Russ Gibson. And on the mound, be Ray Jarvis. For Cleveland, Jose Cardinal leads off in center field. Jimmy Hall bats second in left field. Tony Horton bats third in right field. Batting fourth will be Joe Askew, the catcher. Batting fifth is Chuck Hinton at third base. Batting sixth is Larry Brown, the shortstop. Batting seventh is Zoilo Versailles at second base. Batting eighth, making his first start this year, Richie Scheinblum in right field. And pitching is Stan Williams. It's a chilly day at Cleveland Stadium, 64 degrees, very light winds, and light rain. Defensively for Cleveland, Tony Horton at first. Zoilo Versailles at second. Larry Brown at shortstop. Chuck Hinton at third. Jimmy Hall in left. Jose Cardinal at center. Richie Scheinblum in right. Joe Askew catching. And Stan Williams on the mound. Williams came to the Indians from the Yankees back in 65. 65 and 66, he had arm trouble and pitched very little for Cleveland. Spent most of the time in the minors. 67, he was called up from Portland. And pitched all right. Last season, though, he spent the whole year with the team and had a good year. Hit, 14-8, ERA of 3.45. He had 172 strikeouts. Leading off for Boston is Mike Andrews. He's hitting .273, no home runs, 4 runs batted in. One count. He lines at the left center. That is gone. Leads off the game with a home run. Boston takes an early lead, 1-0. Here's George Scott. He's hitting .545, 1 home run, 4 runs batted in. Boston and Cleveland are each 1-2 in the first week of the season. 2-1 pitch. It's a base hit up through the middle. Scott at first, nobody out. Reggie Smith up at the plate. He's hitting .500, 1 home run, 2 runs batted in. That's a ball inside. Here's a slow roller to third. Hinton. And Hinton will just hold the ball. Runners on first and second. Nobody out. Boston leads 1-0. Rico Petrocelli. He's hitting .333, 1 home run, 4 runs batted in. It's fastball, just low. Ball 1. Strike 1 called. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball 2's outside. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. He's 2-2 count. Strike 3 called out. 1 out. Here's Carl Yastrzemski. He's hitting .222. No home runs, 1 run batted in. Ball 1 inside. And a miss. It's a grounder to second. Versailles boots it, picks it up. He was able to get the runner out at second. So we got 2 outs and runners on first and third. Here's Tony Conigliaro. He's trying to come back from a serious beating that he received in '67. There goes Yastrzemski. Askew's throw. Yaz is safe. Second and third. 2 outs. 0-1 count. Conigliaro did not play at all last season. He hits a base hit to center field. Scott scores. Yaz scores. And Boston leads 3-0. Here's Ken Harrelson. He's making his first start of the year. It's a liner to second. Right to Versailles, and he puts it away. That's 3 outs. 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors, 1 left. Go to the bottom of the first. Boston 3, Cleveland coming to bat. Ray Jarvis on the mound. This will be his first major league appearance. Boston defensively has Ken Harrelson at first, Mike Andrews at second, Rico Petrocelli at short, George Scott at third, Carl Yastrzemski in left, Reggie Smith in center, Tony Conigliaro in right, Russ Gibson catching, Ray Jarvis pitching. Leading off for Cleveland is Jose Cardinal. He's batting .357, 1 home run, 5 runs batted in. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strikes him out. Jarvis strikes out the first hitter that he faces in the big leagues. Jimmy Hall. He's looking for his first hit of the year. He's 0 for 6. 2-2 pitch. He hits a grounder to short. Petrocelli's up with it. Over to first, 2 outs. Tony Horton, the first baseman, he's hitting .583, one home run and 4 runs batted in. Another grounder to short. Petrocelli up with it over to first. 3 outs. Nothing across for Cleveland in the first. At the end of 1, Boston 3, Cleveland nothing. Russ Gibson, he's hitting .154, no home runs, no runs batted in. It's a fly ball to right. Scheinblum is there, and he has it. 1 out. Ray Jarvis, he's making his first major league at bat. 1-2 count. Hits a grounder to third. Hinton up with it over to Horton. 2 outs. Mike Andrews, he led off the game with a home run. The 3-1 pitch, ball 4. George Scott, he's 1 for 1. Singled in last inning. Outside, ball 2. Inside, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. 2 outs, Andrews on first. The 3-0 count. It's a fly ball down the right field line. It makes the seats. It's a fly ball to right, down the right field line. Scheinblum after it. And he makes a catch in foul ground. 3 outs. And 1 run, or no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. Middle of the second. Boston 3, Cleveland nothing. Joe Askew, he's hitting .385, no home runs, 4 runs batted in. Strike 3. Chuck Hinton hitting .200, no home runs, 1 run batted in. Strike 3, swing and a miss. It's 3 strikeouts for Jarvis. Larry Brown hitting .273, 1 home run, 1 run batted in. It's a grounder to second. Andrews up with it. To Harrelson at first. And the inning's over. Nothing across for Cleveland. And at 2, Boston 3, Cleveland nothing. Here's Reggie Smith. 1 for 1, hit an infield single. It's a base hit in the left field. Rico Petrocelli, he's 0 for 1, struck out in the first. None out, runner on first. Ball 1. Strike 1 called. Strike 2. Inside. Ball 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fly down the left field line. Hall is going after it, but it makes the seats. 2-2. Pops it up to the catcher. Askew under it. But he dropped it. Count remains 2-2, and they'll give Askew an error on that. Pops a third, hitting after it, but that's going to make the seats. Down the left field line, fly ball. And that makes the seats. Another fly down the left field line. But that's out of play. Ball 3 outside, full count. It's fly ball to center. Cardinal has it measured. He's there. 1 out. Smith holds it first. Here's Yaz. He's 0 for 1. He grounded to second into a fielder's choice. There goes Smith, and he's out. Askew gets. Pitch was a strike, 0-1. Strike 2 called. 0-2. That was low and inside, ball 1. 1-2 count. Low for ball 2. It's fly ball into right center. That is going. That is gone. Home run for Yaz. His first home run of the year. And the second for Boston today. Here's Tony Conigliaro. He singled up the middle in the first, drove in 2 runs. Boston leads 4-0. Strike 3 called. 1 run, 1 hit. No, 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error. Nobody left after 2.5 innings. It is Boston 4, Cleveland nothing. Zoilo Versalles leads off for Cleveland. He's hitting .222, no home runs, no runs batted in. It's a grounder up Jarvis. Oh, but the throw is high, and Harrelson pulled Harrelson off the bag. Versalles makes it the first on an error. Here's Richie Scheinblum. He's 0 for 6 the young season. Strike 1. Ball 1 outside. It's a grounder in right field, base hit. Versalles holds it second. Have nobody out. Runners on first and second. And here's Stan Williams making his first at bat of the year. Corners are drawn in. Williams lays down a bunt. Gibson up with it to Andrews covering first. And he advances the runners. Versalles to third, Scheinblum to second. Nice sacrifice bunt by Stan Williams. Here's Jose Cardinal. He's 0 for 1. He struck out in the first. It's went down the left field line, foul ball. It's a grounder to short. Petrocelli up with it. This should score Versalles. Scheinblum to third. And Cardinal's out at first. But he drives in a run and advances Scheinblum to third. That makes it 4-1, Boston. Here's Jimmy Hall. He grounded to short in the first inning. He's still looking for his first hit of the year. Strike 2. In the dirt, all the way to the backstop. It's a wild pitch, and Scheinblum scores. 4-2 Cleveland. Ball two just outside. It's 2-2 on Jimmy Hall. Down the first base line, foul. Pops it up behind the plate. Gibson after it, but it makes the seats. A little bit high. Ball three, full count. Hall lines it down the third base line, but it's foul. Ball. First walk of the game given up by Jarvis. Tony Horton, 538, 1 home run, 4 runs batted in. He grounded to short his first time up. He fouls it back. Strike one. Hits a little dribbler down to first base. Harrelson. Oh, Harrelson boots it. Horton is safe. It's the second error of the inning by the Red Sox. So there's runners on first and second. Joe Askew is up. He struck out in the second inning. Ball one. He hits a base hit in the right field. Canigliaro up with it. Hall scores. Horton takes second. 4-3 Boston. It's the third unearned run of the inning for the Indians. Chuck Hinton, 182, no home runs, 1 run batted in. He struck out in the second inning. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. It's a slow roller to short. Petrocelli up with it. Throws to first. And that'll end the inning. But it's a big inning for Cleveland. 3 runs, 2 hits, 2 errors, 2 left. After 3, Boston 4, Cleveland 3. Let's look around at the other games right now. In the bottom of the 4th in Pittsburgh, Phillies and Pirates are tied at 2. That's Chris Short pitching against Luke Walker. At Shea Stadium, in the top of the 4th, the Cardinals lead the Mets 1-0. That's Gibson against Don Cardwell. Top of the 5th in Atlanta, the Braves lead the Reds 2-1. Jim Merritt taking on Phil Niekro. Henry Aaron hit his first home run of the year. In Baltimore, in the bottom of the 5th, the Senators and Orioles, no score. That's Humphreys against Jim Palmer. And in Detroit, in the top of the 4th, Detroit leads New York 4-0. That's Mike Kekich taking on former Ohio State quarterback Joe Sparma. And here in Cleveland, it's top of the 4th. Boston has 4 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors, 2 men left on base. Cleveland has 3 runs, 2 hits, 1 error, 2 men left on base. It'll be Harrelson, Gibson, and Jarvis for the Red Sox. Harrelson's 0 for 1. He lined out the Versailles. It's a grounder to second. Versailles up with it to Horton, 1 out. Russ Gibson, he flighted deep right last time up. It's a fly ball to center. Cardinal is there. Oh, and Askew is hurt. It looks possibly his leg. They're looking him over, but he's going to stay in the game. Here's Ray Jarvis. He grounded to third his first at bat. 0 for 1. Strike 3. Nothing across in the fourth for Boston. Go to the bottom of the fourth. 4-3 Boston Red Sox. For Cleveland, it'll be Larry Brown, Zoilo Versalles, and Richie Scheinblum. Brown hits a grounder to second. Andrews up with it. To first, 1 out. And here's Zoilo Versalles. He grounded the pitcher, but he was safe on an error. Hits another grounder to the pitcher. This time Jarvis measures his throw. 2 outs. That error he made in the last inning might have just been up to him being a little nervous, this being his first game. It's Richie Scheinblum. He singled last time up. 1 for 1. Ball 4. The Indians are expecting Scheinblum to develop into a very good outfielder. Here's Stan Williams. He sacrificed bunt last in the second. Ball 1. It's fly ball on the right field line. Canigliaro after it, but it makes the seats. 1-1. Strike 2. Ball 2 outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Strike 3. That's the 4th strikeout for Williams. Or for Jarvis. He's had no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. After 4. Boston 4, Cleveland 3. In the 5th inning, it'll be Mike Andrews, George Scott, and Reggie Smith for Boston. So Mike Andrews, he's 1 for 1. He led off the game with a home run. It's a liner right. Oh, nice leaping catch by Larry Brown. 1 out. George Scott. Base hit in the right field. Scott is 2 for 3 today. Reggie Smith, he's 2 for 2. Singled to the infield in the first. Singled in the center in the third. 1 out, runner on first. Smith is off to a hot start this season. As is George Scott. George Scott had a terrible season in '68. But he's off to a fast start in 1969. Grounder down third base line, that's foul. 1-2. Here's the pitch. It's a liner down the first base line. That's foul. It's a fly ball down the left field line. That is drifting foul, and it's in the seats. Smith hits a base hit to right field. Scott holds at second. Boston's got runners on first and second. One out. Rico Petrocelli. Petrocelli struck out and flew out to center field. Ball one. Ball two. Ball three. 3-0 count, one out. That's in at the knee, strike one. It's fly ball to left field. Hall is there, and he makes a catch. George Scott takes third base on the catch. 2 outs. Here's Yastrzemski. He's 1 for 2. He hit a home run in the third inning. Changeup, strike one. It's a blooper to center. Cardinal up with it. That'll score Scott. Smith is going for third. Cardinal throws it in. That's increases Boston lead to 5-3. Tony Conigliaro, he singled in the first. He's 1 for 2. Drove in Boston's second and third run. All right, ball one. Come on. Strike two. Ball outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs. Inside, ball 3. Full count. 2 outs, runners on first and third. Strike 3. Chase one out of the zone. One run, 3 hits, no errors. 1 man left. After 4.5 innings, Boston leads Cleveland 5-3. For Cleveland, it'll be Jose Cardinal, Jimmy Hall, and Tony Horton. So Jose Cardinal, he's 0 for 2. It's a grounder to first. Harrelson takes it, and he'll take it to first. 1 out. Jimmy Hall, 0 for 1. He's still looking for his first hit. 0-1 count. He hits a line drive to second. Dan Andrews is there, makes the catch. 2 out. It's Tony Horton. He's 0 for 2. He's off to a fine start. It's a fly ball down the left field line. That makes the seats. Strike 1. Strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And he walks. Joe Askew, 1 for 2. He singled in the third and drove in Jimmy Hall. Strike 1. Outside, ball 2. Low, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. That's outside, ball 3. Fouls it back. Full count. Fly ball down the left field line, drifting foul, and that's in the seats. It's a fly ball down the right field line, but it's drifting. That's in the seats. Foul ball. Full count. Foul down the third base line. It's a liner down the left field line, but that's foul. Another liner down the third base line. Another foul ball. Fouls it back. Fouled off 7 in a row. It's a grounder to short. Petrocelli to Andrews at second, and that'll end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, one left after 5. Boston leads 5-3. For Boston, it'll be Harrelson, Gibson, and Jarvis. Harrelson, strike 3. Stan Williams' 5th strikeout of the day. Here's Russ Gibson. He's 0 for 2. It's a grounder to third. Hinton up with it. To first. 2 out. Here's Ray Jarvis. He's 0 for 2. Strike 3. Askew has to throw to first to complete the strikeout. Nothing across for Boston in the 6th. Boston leads 5-3. Boston has 5 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors, and they've left 4. Cleveland has 3 runs, 2 hits, 1 error. They've left 4. For Cleveland, it'll be Hinton, Brown, and Versailles. Hinton grounds one to second. Andrews up with it. To first, 1 out. Here's Larry Brown. He's 0 for 2 today. It's a grounder to third. George Scott there. To Harrelson, 2 out. And here's Zoilo Versailles. He's 0 for 2 today. It's a grounder to second. Andrews to first. That's 3 outs. Nothing across. After 6, Boston leads 5-3. Cleveland is making a defensive change. Duke Sims enters the game as catcher. This will be Sims' first appearance of the season. For Cleveland, or for Boston, it'll be Mike Andrews, George Scott, and Reggie Smith. Andrews is 1 for 2. He led off the game with a home run. 2-2 count. Strike 3. George Scott, he's 2 for 3 today. Single in the first. Line deep down the right field line at second, and singled in the 5th. One count. He grounds it to short. Larry Brown up with it. To first, 2 out. Reggie Smith, he's 3 for 3 today. Singled on the infield in the first, singled in the third, singled in the 5th. He's off to a hot start. It's a fly ball to right. Scheinblum's there, and he has it. 3 up and 3 down for Boston. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Boston 5, Cleveland 3. It'll be Scheinblum, Williams, and Cardinal. Scheinblum, he's 1 for 1. Singled in the 3rd and walked in the 4th. Gentleman hits a base hit in the right field. Pinch hitting for Williams will be Lee May. And here comes Dick Williams, and they're making a pitching change. Coming in to pitch is Sparky Lyle. Lee May is 0 for 1 on the season. Warming up in the bullpen, it looks like it's going to be Vicente Romo. Scheinblum at first, Lee May hitting. Lyle this season has pitched 1 1/3 innings. He's given up 2 hits, has 1 strikeout. Ball 1. Strike 1 on the inside corner. Ball 2 outside. Ball 3 way inside. 3-1 count. Ball 4. Here's Jose Cardinal. He's 0 for 3 today. No outs and runners on first and second. Ball 1. Ball 2 inside. Hits a grounder to short. Petrocelli to second. Throws to first, but not in time for the double play. 1 out. Cardinal at first. Scheinblum on third. And pinch hitting for Jimmy Hall will be Max Elvis. Elvis is 1 for 1 on the season. Cardinal off with the pitch. Throw to second. He's safe. Cardinal with his second steal of the year. And Indian is now 2 runners in scoring position. Ball 2, 2 balls and 1 strike. Strike 2, it hits the inside corner. Hits a line drive in a right field. Canigliaro. He makes the catch, but Scheinblum will score. Boston now leads 5-4. Tony Horton, he's off to a hot start, but he's 0 for 2 today. Cardinal at second. Fouls it back. Strike 2. It's a grounder to short. Petrocelli up with it. To first. That'll end the inning. They got 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. After 7, it's Boston 5, Cleveland 4. Some changes in the Indians lineup. Max Elvis remains in the game. He'll be at third. And Chuck Hinton moves from third to take over in left. And the new pitcher is Vicente Romo. He's pitched 1 inning. He has with 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. Boston will have Petrocelli, Yaz, and Canigliaro in the 8th inning. Petrocelli grounds to short. Brown is up with it to first. 1 out. Here's Yaz. He's 2 for 3. Hit a solo home run in the 3rd. And he singled in the 5th, driving in George Scott. Strike 3 down the middle. Tony Canigliaro. He's 1 for 3. He singled in the 1st, drove in 2 runs. It's a base hit into right field. Scheinblum up with it. And Canigliaro with a single. That's Boston's 10th hit. Here's Ken Harrelson. He's still looking for his first hit of the year. Strike 1. Ball 1 inside. It's a grounder to short. Brown to second. And that'll end the inning for Boston. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. After 7.5, the bottom of the 8th, Boston 5, Cleveland 4. Coming in to pitch for Boston is Lee Stange. Stange is a familiar face here. He pitched for Cleveland. Came over in 64, and he was here in 65 and 66. He had a good year with Cleveland at 65, the year that they nearly won the pennant. This is Stange's first appearance of the season. Cleveland will have Duke Sims, Chuck Hinton, and Larry Brown. Here's Sims. This is his first at-bat of the year. Hits a fly ball to center. Reggie Smith is there. 1 out. Here's Chuck Hinton. He's 0 for 3. It's a grounder in the right field base hit. They're going to be watching Hinton close. He's a good threat to steal. Larry Brown, 0 for 3. Throws the first. Hinton back safely. Ball 1. Changeup, ball 2. Strike 1 at the belt. Ball 3. 3-1 count. There goes Hinton. He's safe. And And that was a strike on Brown, so it's full count. 1 out, runner on second. Ball 4. And that puts the go-ahead run on first. Hitting for Versailles will be Russ Snyder. Batting 111 so far this year. He's 1 for 9 with a double. Ball 1. Ball 2. Ball 3 inside. 3-0 count. It's a pop-up. It's behind the plate. Gibson's after it, but it makes the seats. 3-1 count. Snyder lines a base hit into center field. Smith is up with it. Hit will hold at third. The bases are loaded. 1 out. And Richie Scheinblum, he's 2 for 2 today. Singled in third, he walked and singled in the 7th. Strike 1 called. Boston has the infield in. Scheinblum is fly ball down the right field line, but it is making the seats. 0-2 count. Strike 3. A big pitch for Stange. Batting for Vicente Romo will be Dave Nelson. Nelson's 1 for 4 this season. Getting up in the bullpen is Larry Burchard. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Indians down by 1. Ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Inside, ball 2. It's a liner in the center field. Will Smith come up with? Smith hauls it in. Boston really survived a tight spot there. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. They leave the bases loaded. We played 8, Boston 5, Cleveland 4. Dave Nelson stays in the game at second base. Coming in to pitch is Larry Burchard. Burchard's in the 7th position in the lineup. Burchard's pitched 2 innings. He's given up 1 hit, and he struck out 1. Gibson, Stange, and Andrews for the Red Sox. Gibson grounds it to third. To Elvis to Horton, 1 out. Lee Stange. Pinch hitting for Stange will be Joe LaHood. LaHood is 1 for 1 on the year. Three 1 count. And he walks. That's the first walk of the year given up by Burchard. The Indians have really been having trouble with walking batters. Here's Mike Andrews, 1 for 3. He led off the game with a home run. Fouls it back, strike 1. Ball one. Ball two. Three. Fouls it back. Strike full count. Hits a line drive into center field, base hit. Cardinal up with it. And LaHoot stops at second. George Scott, he's 2 for 4 today. They're sending up Dalton Jones to pinch hit for George Scott. Jones hitting .222, no home runs, 1 run batted in. Looks like Dick Williams still doesn't have much faith in George Scott. Ball two. Strike two. Ball three. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Fouls it back. Strike two. It's a grounder to third. Elvis up with it to second for 1. To first, double play. And the Indians get out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Boston leads 5-4. Coming in to pitch is Juan Pizarro. He's pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up 3 hits, 1 walk. He has an ERA of 54.00, and he's 0 for 1 on the year. And coming in to play third base and hitting in the pitcher spot is Sid O'Brien. Another one of the Red Sox rookies. Leading off for Cleveland is Jose Cardinal. He is 0 for 4 today. 0-1 count. It's a grounder to third. O'Brien up with it. 1 out. Max Elvis. He's sacrificed in the 7th inning as a pinch hitter. It's a grounder to short. Petrocelli dives to first from his knees. 2 outs. Cleveland's down to their last out. Tony Horton, he's 0 for 3. Strike 3 called. And that's the game. Boston wins it. They have 5 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors. Cleveland 4 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. Cleveland drops to 1-3. Boston is 2-2. Cleveland left 8 men on base. Boston left 6. Ray Jarvis in his first big league appearance gets the win. He's 1-0. Pitched a decent game. Pitched 6 innings, gave up 3 hits, walked 3, struck out 4, gave up 4 runs, but only 1 was earned. Williams takes the loss. He's 0 for 1. He pitched 7, gave up 9 hits, 5 runs, 2 home runs. He walked 1. He struck out 7. He was very shaky in the first inning, but seemed like he put it together after that. Pizarro gets his first save. And the report on Joe Azcue's injury is that He seemed like he had shook it off. And will probably be back in the lineup tomorrow. Well, that's all from Cleveland. Once again, the final score, Boston 5, Cleveland 4. And thank you for watching.